Hello and welcome to another exclusive review with me, Alex Belfield, here at celebrityradio.biz, where last year we had over 7.2 million minutes viewed on YouTube. This week we feature The Producers, my favourite musical in history. It's back in 2015, and the man who's playing Leo Bloom is going to be Jason Manford, top comedian, who has got to bring this rather silly role to life. The Producers is the story of the worst play in history, which has to be a flop. They raise money. If it's a flop and it closes, they make millions and clear off to the sunshine. If not, they go to prison. By the end of the show, you could argue both of those things come true. This show is a masterclass in musical theatre. It's got singing, it's got dancing, it's got big scenery, it's got amazing gags, and it'll be coming to Bromley, Manchester, Edinburgh, Milton, Keynes, Southend, Brighton, Birmingham, Bristol, Belfast, Sunderland, Woking, Southampton, Liverpool, Leeds, Glasgow, Aberdeen, Oxford, and Dublin from March through July 2015. You can find out more at theproducersmusical.co.uk. This is going to be interesting for Jason Manford because the role he plays is very silly and quiet. You have to underplay the role, not overplay it. He does get one big number in the show, although the main role in the show is by Max Bialystock, which is the big charismatic producer role. Jason will play Leo, who is the accountant. The accountant's job is to balance the books for the crooks so that the show makes money when it's a flop. As he says, you just move a few decimal places. The word count is in your title. This show is wordy and clever, 2.5 hours of spectacle. Mel Brooks is no fool, he knows how to write a hit, and in this show there are many of them. The show opens with King of Broadway, a true 11 o'clock number where they start outside the theatre and in true theatre form, and in a Broadway classic they end up back there at the end. This is one of those full circle musicals, you cannot go wrong. There's some great comedy moments like in Old Bavaria, and let's not forget Ula, she's the sexy part of the show. It'll be interesting to see how they pull that off. On Broadway it was done superbly, as you can hear from the soundtrack, which is available on Amazon. This smash hit musical, of course, was based on the Mel Brooks much loved Academy Award-winning movie. The Producers is an hysterical comedy taken from the Broadway hit, which won, I think, 12 Tony Awards, and in the West End, 3 Olivier Awards. The choreography in this musical is stunning. What I love about it is the detail as well. Mel Brooks put one scene in, I won't spoil it, but at the beginning of the second half, for one gag, one small 3-second gag, he created an entire new set. Nobody would get away with that today. There just aren't the budgets. This really is a show for people who love comedy, who love theatre, and love great performance. All of the leads in this are going to have to be amazing to pull it off. In the West End, they had Lee Evans. That's the level that Jason Manford is going to be competing with as the star face of The Producers 2015. Jason Manford will play Leo Bloom in the smash hit Broadway musical. I haven't seen this version yet because it hasn't started, but on Broadway it was 6 stars. In the West End it was 5 stars. Let's see what they do on tour. Of course, in the past it's had Brian Conley and it's had Joe Pasquale, some big names, some big shoes to fill, and I'm sure Jason will relish this role because it really gives him an opportunity to shine. Again, with the music, look out for the second half where they do Betrayed, which is a 6-minute number where they abridge the entire show in 6 minutes, and it's just stunning. One of the greatest bits of theatre I've ever seen. So there you go. Don't miss The Producers. It gets my endorsement just because it's back. It deserves to be. The greatest show on earth, the most funniest musical on earth, and one of the biggest and most brave and beautiful musicals ever created by Mel Brooks, who is a genius. The Producers back on tour from March 2015. You've been listening to another review by me, Alex Belfield, here at celebrityradio.biz, where last year we had over 7.2 million minutes viewed. Here's Lee Evans from the West End cast, who played Leo Bloom. Here's James Dreyfus as well. He was in the original West End cast, and Reese Shearsmith and Corey English, who all came on the show. Don't miss The Producers. It's on tour from 2015. You can find out more details by going to www.theproducersmusical.co.uk. Thanks for listening to another review by me, Alex Belfield, here at celebrityradio.biz. Ta-da!
Well, I worked very hard on the role, to get into character, and I spend many hours before the show, if you like, being the character. And I just get on with it. It's very simple. You just have to read the script and it's there, and then you try to blag a few lines in it and see if Mr. Brooks likes them. There's a lot of emotion in there. I fall in love and I grow as a character. I'm aware of, my character arc. I'm sorry to get technical. I don't mean to, really. But I do know that Leo Theo Bloom starts off as this kind of small, anal retentive kind of accountant, and he flourishes into somebody who's been taught by Max. I come off of all that, and if you were saying earlier, don't do too much with the comedy, it all stems off of that. If you do too much, then the character doesn't work, and the audience is unbelievable. Thank you very much indeed for your support, and it's great, it's good, well played, and I really do thank you for your support. We did work very long hours. We were going in at 9 and then finishing it sometimes 1, 2 at night. We just do the job and see what happens. We try to give as much as we can, really.
Thank you so much for sparing the time.
No, I thank you. Thank you very much for your support. It's very, very welcome.
Alex Belfield.
So I caught up with James last night before the performance and asked him, was he enjoying being in the show?
It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, who could not enjoy this show?
I mean, you play Carmen Gear, and you're the common law assistant to a rather flamboyant character, and I'm trying to work out who's more camp.
I think it has to be my master.
To think that your master turns into Mein Führer. You know?
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does. And it's equally as camp.
How do you do it? I mean, today I know you've done a matinee for the press, and you've done just show after show after show. How the hell do you manage to perform it?
With a lot of sleep and a lot of alcohol. Not before the show, after the show. Everybody has to give it that, otherwise, you can feel it doesn't quite hold together. So unless you give 100%, you can just see the seams. If you're going to have to camp around, this is a pretty good show to camp around in.
The gags in it are just amazing. I mean, the swastikas line, I don't want to give too much away, but they're just brilliant. Do you have to worry about your timing, or are the lines good enough themselves that they'll get a laugh anyway?
No, you always have to worry about timing. If you don't get the timing, the lines won't work. It doesn't matter how funny it is. If you don't put comic timing into it, it'll fall flat.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Enjoy it tonight.
Reese Shearsmith and Corey English are the Bialystok and Bloom from the producers, which is going to be here till about 2049. And I hope you're here with it, because honestly, guys, welcome to the show firstly.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Thanks. You blew me away. I've seen this with virtually every different type of cast, whether it be on Broadway or here, because it was the first show I saw that made me think, God, I couldn't do that. Do you enjoy it, Reese?
Yeah, I mean, it's my first, it's not the thing I'm known for or I've ever done before, so it was a challenge to first get the part, and then when I did have it, I thought, well, I'll embrace it and try and tick the boxes I've never had ticked before. To do the singing and dancing is an absolute new foray for me, and to enter into a cast that have been doing it forever, and alongside Corey was just consummate brilliance itself. I have to, well, it's true, but to try to raise my game and just look at least not completely out of place is enough for me.
I think most people will know you from The League of Gentlemen, which you did splendidly, but it's a very different thing doing something on film where you can take another go at it if you get it wrong, or you can do it again. Actually, with this show, it looks as if it can, but it's so tight with the gags and everything moving, and there's really not a lot of room for that, is there?
No, and with Susan Stroman's choreography, having directed it as a choreographer, every move really is kind of in there for a reason, and there's very little manoeuvre, so you've got to be, all your hand movements are all kind of in place. Not to say she thought of everything we do, but it is very much tightly choreographed, and for a reason it looks great, I think. When this show opened, I didn't know whether it was going to work over here, because I didn't know whether people would get the Jewish humour in it, because it's quite Jewish and over the top. And you've come in, and again, maybe not with the singing, but the physicality of it is better than Broderick. I always kind of knew I could do that side of it, and the singing is a fear for me, but I think that will probably get stronger. But and the dancing was a challenge for me as well. But as far as I kind of look back on Gene Wilder's way of doing it before I started doing it, I didn't see Lee Evans, and I've not seen Broderick in the film, so I don't really know his take on it. But I just do my version of Leo. Really, that's all I can do. You've literally got to sing this whole show all the way through. You seem to really love it, and that's inspiring for an audience.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I mean, I'm a pig and poop here. I started out as a dancer in ensemble back in 88, 89 in a Broadway show, and always wanted to just move up in the ranks, and now here 18 years later I get a chance to do it, and so if I don't enjoy this, then I'm giving up the business. And that's the blessing with this show, isn't it, really? I mean, you're given God's best comedy material from Mel Brooks. Absolutely. It's funny, as Reese was saying about the choreography with Stroman, Mel Brooks's lines were written. He used to be a drummer, and the rhythm of speech, almost like iambic pentameter, has to be da 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 da. Is his way of comedy as well, and that's. It works that way, the way Mel Brooks wrote it, and you have to follow that. And if you do, you're going to be a success.
Nobody's ever been willing to answer this question. Your favourite gag? I mean, you're a comedian, Reese. Come on, what's your favourite gag in the show?
In the show, well, I love, because it comes from High Anxiety, one of my favourite films, when Ula says, "You want me to make audition?" And I say, "Oh no, that won't be Nessa." And he goes, "It is Nessa, extremely Nessa." And that's my favourite line in the show.
What's yours, Corey?
As a matter of fact, we might have several positions for you.
Yeah. And mine is your hats, your coats, your swastikas, which is just, there's so many, and you can't possibly get all the lines the first time you see it, and that's why really you should go back. And I went to see a matinee this week, which normally, quite honestly, I can't imagine are your best shows of the week, because they're people who have probably come on a bus trip from Swindon and are doing it because they can and they've got nothing better to do. But they really got into it this way. I was amazed. It was probably one of the best shows I've ever seen in London, really. The laughter was as loud as I've ever heard.
It was good. They have been good, haven't they? The afternoon ones. You are tempted to think it's an afternoon, you just mark it through. But ultimately, you can't really do it, like you said, you can't half do this show. You've got to kind of go for it each time.
Yeah.
What song do we play? We're going to take a break, and I want to play a song from it, but they're all classics. Keep It Gay, I mean, is one of my favourites for all the wrong reasons. By the way, if you're easily offended, this probably isn't the show for you. Jews, gays, black jokes,
Swedes, old ladies,
Germans,
fat
Nazis.
people, Irish,
all bases are covered.
What's your favourite song, Reese?
Oh, I like, weirdly enough, our first song together, We Can Do It. I think it's great, and I love and it's great for me because I get to I'm eased into the singing by Corey beginning it, and then I kind of join in after halfway through, but I kind of love that. It kind of sets everything up.
We're talking today to Reese Shearsmith and also to Corey English, who are the Bialystock and Bloom at the Drury Lane Theatre Royal. One question about rehearsing this. How do you go about it, Corey? Where do you start? There's so much to learn, and almost every scene is another huge mammoth task. There are no wasted scenes. Just literally start at the beginning and try and get as far as you can.
Yeah. Basically, for me, I started because I started understudying Max originally when it originally opened here in the West End. I learned Betrayed first because I knew that was going to be the most difficult. So I started with that number because it recaps the entire show. So I had to learn that first. Then I went back and did it from the beginning. I listened to the show because I was the understudy for so long. I listened to it every single night, watched it every single night for about 2 months, and then I stopped watching it, and then I just went into my dressing room or the studio and just worked it by myself. When Reese came in, I literally tried to forget all of that and just remember my lines and then just play off Reese, and then our rapport started to build, and then we built our own sort of style for the piece and made it our own. But being such a mammoth production, as soon as that big first scene is done, the office scene, Mel Brooks' characters help, because then it comes the gay team. Well, first the Nazi, then the gay team, and then a 6'5" Swedish woman takes over.
Sounds like the lineup when I worked at the BBC, actually.
Once all they come in, we can just give them focus, and then they can help drive the train for a while, and we can,
we all get our turn at being kind of in the limelight of being the funny one, and then it's the baton is handed over scene by scene to the people we encounter as we collect our elements to put on Springtime for Hitler.
Now you've been able to make it your own. I mean, is this something you're enjoying and you want to do more of, Reese, or are you going to go back to the TV comedy?
Well, I didn't enter into doing it because I thought I want to a foray into it, a musical theatre. It was the part, and it was the Mel Brooks world, that I just want, and it's such a brilliant show, full stop. It's very rare you sit down anywhere in the theatre and laugh out loud, and to have a musical comedy and the lyrics of a song make you laugh is really rare. I'm actually not a big fan of funny songs generally. I don't think they work. They make me cringe a little bit, but these are actually all really great, and it works, and to have that, like Corey was saying, the rhythm, that Mel Brooks rhythm, just given to you on a plate. It's fantastic, and I just, I felt I was entering a great world. I don't know, it'd have to be whether I could do it, whether the part was right, and whether I'd be interested in doing it. I love doing this, so, and it kind of, as far as the character, it kind of fits for me, and I just enjoy it's a huge journey we go on every night, isn't it?
It is.
It's a big, you enter in that office, and once I'm through the doors, it's like, I mean, he's already there on, but
the train is, the train gets
strap
going,
yourself
and,
in,
and you're on it. So we're on stage for at least, it's a 2 hour and 2.5 hours, and we're on stage at least 2 hours and 10.
We have Springtime for Hitler off. That's it. But we set it up, and then they do it, don't they?
Yeah.
We come back at the other end of it.
I saw this for the first time by accident, really. When I did the show for the BBC, the musical show, they used to send me tickets for everything, and I'd go and see it. I'd do about 15 shows in 4 days or something ridiculous. And I didn't know anything about this, as I wouldn't. It was just over here, nobody was talking about it. And I saw it, and I knew the first time I saw it that I wished I could have that feeling again. And I never have, really, truly. This is a show that the first time you see it, you are literally like that scene in Springtime for Hitler, where your mouth is open, and you're thinking, how has he got away with this? And the bigness of the show, and one of the cleverest, most simple things is just a thing you do with a Zimmer frame. I'm not going to give it away in this show, but it's pure comic genius, pure genius, and again, people just love it. And to see a whole audience roaring is rare, and you know that more than anyone.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, night after night, the play within the play, when they put on Springtime for Hitler, and you see those numbers and that tune that you think has just always ever been there, Mel Brooks' opus, it just comes on. And
I'm the German Ethel Merman, don't you know?
Yeah. The crowd who's out to change our history. Yeah. It's really, and it's so powerful as well. I mean, that's what I get from it when I hear it. Over the time I am sat with my little 5-minute break, and you hear it, and it's stirring, isn't it, in a way, in a strange way.
There's one line I always kind of cringe at, and there's one line more than any other in it, where I don't even think we can do it on the radio, where you talk about you search Broadway on and off for singers with a cough. And there's something you physically do on stage.
Yes.
And that's not PC even today.
I know. I was shocked at that was the choreography. I was told,
Yeah, that's...
Again, now I've not blamed myself for that.
That's a bit of an Americanism, because we don't think of the SPASTIC as being that. It's more hyper rather than a physical disability sort of thing. So that's why that is like that. He wasn't going at those folks, actually.
I see. Okay. Yeah. He doesn't do anything to cause offence. He does it to cause a laugh. Yeah. But people can take offence by him trying to get a laugh. And that's always the juxtaposition with this show, isn't it? And he thrives on that. He thrives on that kind of living on the edge. That's what this show's about, isn't it? Dancing Hitlers. Hello. Okay, we're going to take another piece of music, and we'll come back with our remaining moments with Reese and with Corey. What makes a hit, then? I mean, you've both been doing showbiz for long enough to work it out, because I still can't. No matter how many shows I see, some come and some go, but some just seem to be above the rest. Have you worked it out, Corey?
The shows that I've done have been the classics. I've done a lot of the Guys and Dolls, Gypsy, Damn Yankees, Hello Dolly, The Producer, Chicago. The formula seems that you must move the plot with the song or the choreography. That is a huge key. Let those tell a story and further the plot. Whenever you stop a scene just to have a song for a pretty dainty little song, unless you further the plot with it, it's gonna drop the ball and the energy's gonna sink. So that's where that's the key to a good musical. Like I've never written one, but if I can recognize one.
Well, it's like Ken Dodd said in opera, when they get stabbed, instead of dying, they sing. In your brain, you go, well, hang on, what are you singing about? You're dying. You're not going to be singing.
Right. Yeah.
And this show never does that. There are no moments like in We Were Rocky, which, again, I do enjoy, and I love it, and there's some great performers in it. But at one point, they go, how are we going to get there? On our bicycle. And the whole crowd kind of go, oh, Ben Elton's at it again. And as great as that show, they're the moments where you kind of lose it, and this just never allows a beat to go. And if you don't get the last gag, you'll be sure there's one coming straight down the line that you're going to get next.
It's very tightly, it's choreographed, and there isn't an ounce of fat on it. It's all very lean, and exactly all the laughs are in there, and gaps placed for a reason. And musically as well, I've kind of started to hear it more, that everything has got a hidden ba-bum. You know what I mean? It's to
Yeah.
kind of tell you where to laugh. And the audiences just do, and they know where to clap.
Yeah.
This whole place, it's brilliantly written. It's very clever.
Yeah.
Congratulations to both of you. You really
Thank
have
you.
made this your own, and I don't say that to everyone. I literally only have people in if I like the show, because I see no point in lying to you or insulting you. You both, for your own reasons, have made it your own. And if anybody has 50 quid to spare, which is not cheap for a theatre show or for anything in life, it's very expensive, you do get your money's worth.
No, it is. It's a startling show to see. It's a joy.
And you
feel
can
very
get
happy.
there are £20 tickets. They're not all 50. You can move up into the balcony for 20.
You need to see this at the front. Honestly, if you're going to see it, don't see it in the crap seats. Just see it where you can see the whites of your eyes. And again, the chemistry between you two, you can see the closer towards you are, the more you can see that.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that means a lot, I think, to an audience. We'll end with Springtime for Hitler. This could be very well the last song I ever play on the radio. If you don't like it, switch off. Guys, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Cheers.